Yeah, so let's discuss about the writer a little. Now, Saki's better known name, as I told you, Saki is known as H. Munro, and he is a British writer. He is considered as the master of short stories, and he was born in Burma in 1870 and died in 1916 when he was 45. So you don't want to know much about him, just few details that you need to know, because you will have to write down about him. Right, when you're writing the appreciation, when you're writing the essay type answer, you will have to mention little about the writer as well, right? And the next thing is, I'll just tell you about the lumber room incident. Now, in this session, I'm not going to discuss the story. I'll be explaining you about the plot, about the themes, the characters who are involved here, what kind of technique Saki has used, and what is the theme given out. Those things only I'll be discussing in this session. So before we go into that, you should have a clear idea about what is this story, like what is happening here, what are the incidents taking place. Those things you should know. So listen very carefully. Now, in this story, there are some children in a house, and these children are to be taken to a place called Jagborough Sands, right? So in this story, the main character, who is called as Nicola, he will not be taken to this Jagborough Sand, right? He is not taken there because this boy has done some mischievous activity, right? Some mischievous activity he has done, and he is like, for as a punishment for that, he is not taken to that trip. So this boy is now stubborn, like he's kind of giving some stubborn to his aunt, and he's telling that he can't take his breakfast, right? Because he's giving a very different complaint about his breakfast. That is, he says that in his breakfast, there is a frog in the bread, right? He said that he saw a frog in his bread. That is a complaint given. So the aunt's character is there in this whole plot. We have two main characters called Nicola and the aunt. So this aunt's character, she's telling him that he's lying. Okay, she's complaining, no, he's lying. So this aunt says him, okay, you are not allowed to go to the Jagborough Sand. I'm not going to take you to the Jagborough Sand. And also at the same time, as another punishment, she's telling him not to go to the gooseberry gardens also. Now this whole story, I'm going to divide into few stages, right? I'm going to divide into few stages for you to make it easy to understand, right? So this division of the stages of the whole story we call as the plot, right? Any short story, or it can be a drama, we have a plot. We have a plot. In literature, we have a certain plot. So this plot is divided into four main parts, right? Number one is the exposition. Number one is the exposition, right? I'll tell you what is exposition. Number two is the complication part, right? Number two is complication. So when you're writing your analysis, when you're writing your appreciation, you have to follow this plot, right? Based on this plot, you can write the pattern of the story. Then the third one is the climax, right? Exposition, complication, climax, and finally the resolution part. So we are going to discuss one by one briefly, right? So listen very carefully. Now, imagination is important, right? When I'm explaining you the story, don't do any other work. Your full attention should be on the story. Maybe you have done this prose before. That doesn't mind. You think you're doing it freshly, newly, like you think this is a new story for you, and you start your own imagination. So from one, there are a lot here, like you can have different imaginations. Can you understand? So in a place where you can't imagine, that is the place that you all are struggling, that you can't understand, right? Now, exposition means what? Exposition means the beginning of the plot, the beginning of the story. Now, when I consider the lumber room story, Hector Hugh Munro, our writer, he's first telling us about Nicola. He's introducing us Nicola, right? He's a very little child, a boy character, and he is considered as the main character in this story. But unfortunately, we are understanding that as readers, we realize once we read the prose, this little boy, or we can say the main character of the story, is punished by his aunt. So readers are like shocked, like whenever, like at the moment the story started, the main character is punished by an elderly character, right? Now, usually we have a thought, right? We have an idea. If somebody is getting punished, they have done some kind of a mistake. So then quickly we think, like as readers, as we don't know what's happening later, we quickly think, all right, he has done some work and that's why he is punished. Yes, he has done some mischievous work. That is, this little boy, he's accusing that his bread and milk, or as I can tell you, his breakfast, his bread and milk, he can't consume that, he says. He's complaining he can't consume that as there is a frog in that. Now, when we read that part of the story, it's kind of little humorous also. Like, how can a frog come to the breakfast table and into his food exactly? So that's a question. So in that point, like we think, okay, right, maybe he is kind of making some fun in the story. But no, he's like telling it very strictly, no, there is a frog in my bread and milk. So like us, aunt who heard this also, she doesn't believe it. She was very angry with him. Like, what are you talking? Are you saying that the frog came to your food? So all of us, we all consumed it and you're saying of a frog. So aunt was really angry with him. The other children are also, they are here now. Okay, there are some other children also. Now, these children, they were the cousins of Nicola. They were listening to all these things, and aunt, as she was really angry with him, angry with Nicola, she thought to give him a punishment. What was that punishment? Aunt quickly put a plan. That plan is, she planned to take all the children to a place called Jugborough Sands as a picnic, But remember, the intention of the aunt was not to make the children have a fun or to let them enjoy or any other good intention. It was her real intention was somehow this boy should be punished. He was just making me angry early in the morning and he's lying here. As a punishment, I'm going to leave him at home and take everyone to out. That was aunt's plan. So in this trip, Nicola was strictly not permitted to join, right? As a punishment, he was strictly not permitted to join. Clear? Now, other children, now you might be wondering like, okay, this was a sudden plan. Are the other children ready to go, right? Because Nicola is not allowed to go. Not only to the trip, but also while reading the prose, you understand, aunt gives him a second punishment also. The second punishment is he is not even allowed to go to the gooseberry garden, right? Gooseberry garden is maintained by aunt, right? So aunt is saying him strictly, you are not allowed to come to the Jugborough Sands with us. At the same time, you can't go into the gooseberry garden also. So what is the final order? Nicola, he has to stay at home. He has to stay at home. He can't do any other nonsense inside the home also. He can't go to the gooseberry garden and destroy that also, right? So this is what is explained in the exposition part. That is the beginning of the story. So in the beginning of the story, readers are able to understand that aunt is kind of a ruling character, right? A ruling character. So listen one more thing. Now, these points are important for you to write down the appreciation, right? When you're writing appreciation, all the children, all the students, they have a problem. How to start it, how to get it in a flow, and how to stop it. From where to start, how can we introduce? Because you all know the story, that's the problem. Always think that if you are writing something or if you're explaining something to someone, think that that particular person doesn't know anything, and you think you are going to explain from A to Z. Can you understand? Now I'm explaining you the story. Okay, I'm thinking, right, none of y'all know what is lumber room. So we have to do it with the best. We have to give the best to you for you to understand clearly. Right. So like that only, when you're writing an appreciation, think that your examiner doesn't know in literature and you try to explain the story to him. He has to get inspired by looking your writing. Right. This is very, very interesting story, because this whole story, this whole short story is divided into two parts. Can you understand? Divided into two parts. What are the two parts? First part is writer Hector Hugh Munro. He is focusing at the children's world, children world. So remember, he is not just writing this story for your to make an interest to you, or just to make a reading for your leisure time. He is having a goal. He's having some motive to do this. He's considering two parts, two sections, or two sides in this whole story. One side is he's focusing on the children's world and the adults' world, right? So every person is having a certain impact on his or her life to do this. Now, if you see, there is a certain impact for you, right? That something has made you to think, okay, I have to write this, I have to convey this, like that. So if you can't say something to someone, you keep it personal and you write it in a diary. So like that, Hector Hugh Munro's life also something like this story only. The reason is Hector Hugh Munro's mother, she died early, and Hector Hugh Munro and some of the other children of his family, they were taken to England and came. So just understand the real life story also. Whose real life story? The writer's real life story. Okay, some part of his life has made a certain impact on him to write down this lumber room short story, right? So when he was taken to England, Hector Hugh Munro was brought up by his grandmother and his aunt. Can you understand? Now you can imagine, maybe sometimes, we don't know exactly, but maybe sometimes Hector Hugh Munro's life also had an aunt like the character what we are going to see in the lumber room short story as well. Did you understand? So Munro, he was actually taken, looked after by his aunt, and like you can understand, right? If you are not living with your mother, with your own parents, there are some uncomfortable situations that come into your life. Maybe sometimes, at home you are like a free bird. When you go somewhere, when your parents are somewhere for a month or 2 months, like we feel little uncomfortable to behave at their different place, like in an third person's place, like. So maybe Hector Hugh Munro had certain problem, and he might have done some misbehaviors. So like that, Nicola also is taken, he's looked after by his aunt, right? So he's mainly focusing on the child's world. This child's world is important. You have to mention that. He's focusing on the child's world, and not only the child's world, he's focusing on the adult's world also. That's why I told you this short story is divided into two main parts. Clear? So not only that, Saki, he's trying to suggest that, he's trying to give an idea to the readers. Adulthood is losing all the sense of fun, imagination, right? All the sense of fun and imagination is grabbed and taken away by the adulthood. Whose fun, whose imagination? The child. The childhood fun, the childhood imagination is, taken, forcefully it's taken now by the adult. That's what Saki is trying to, he's trying to show that. Can you understand? So in this whole plot, when you're reading, you have to have an intention about that point also. This is a story discussing about two generations, younger and the elder generation. So Nicola's character is mainly focused here for the behaving pattern and his thinking pattern, right? He's thinking very creatively. He's behaving in a different way, right? He's trying to exhibit himself or his characters different from the other children, right? So we can consider this lumber room story as a children's story, like more than any other stories, like not like Lahore Attack or anything. We can consider this as a children's story. So you understood what's happening in the exposition, how the story is beginning. Now I explained it to you. Now you have to have the imagination. We have only two characters in our imagination now, Aunt's character and Nicola's character. So you have imagined how Aunt is punishing Nicola. Don't go to the gooseberry garden. You are not allowed to come to the Jugbarrow sand. And in your imagination, now you should have some children, some of his cousins also. Clear? Then the next part, the complication part. Now, exposition part, I told you, it is the beginning of the story. Now, when you come to this complication part, complication means what? Some kind of a complication, we say. It's a kind of confusion. So, complication means a certain conflict is occurring in the plot. Conflict means a certain problem is happening in the plot. How is this problem happening? Where is this problem starting? Right? Listen. Now, I told you, Nicola is ordered to stay at home alone. Now, Nicola is all alone at home. Now, in your imagination, Nicola is alone at home, right? Now, he has a certain displeasure, unhappiness. What is the unhappiness? Now, I told you in the beginning of the story, Nicola is a little child. So, a little child, when he is punished, okay, don't come to the trip, you stay at home. When he's punished like that, you understand his mentality, right? Now, you have to play Nicola's role. To understand this story, you have to play Nicola's role. Now, Nicola is having a certain displeasure because he was not allowed to join the other children to go to the Jugbarrow sands. Now, why he was not allowed here? Because of the adulthood, the overruling power of the adulthood. One adult made him to come to this position, right? Forcefully, he was said, you should not go, you have to stay. So what did this Nicola do? He's a little child now, he can't stay in one place like that. So what does he do? He slowly creeps into the gooseberry garden. Now, Aunt told him, don't go to the gooseberry garden. I told you that Aunt ordered him not to go to the gooseberry garden. Now, you should understand this fact also. Now, when we tell a child not to go anywhere, what will he do? Definitely, he will try to do that. Why is that? Because they have something called curiosity. Children, they have something called curiosity. So that is the common nature of the children, that when a person says him or her not to do something, definitely they try to do it. They try to test it because they have the curiosity. That's why Nicola also slowly moves into the gooseberry garden. Can you understand? So, Aunt told him not to go, but he doesn't want to obey. Now, we feel, as readers, we feel, oh, what is this child? He's not even obeying the elders now. Yeah, according to his point of view, elder people are not always right. That's what he wanted to prove. This is the place where the complication, where the conflict occurs in the short story. He doesn't want to obey. He doesn't like his aunt's reasonings. When he questioned his aunt, why are you telling me not to go to the gooseberry garden? She's just jabbering nonsense. She's changing the subject and talking. So he didn't like his aunt's reasoning method. He doesn't see any relationship between the disgrace and the restriction given to him. What is the disgrace? Yes, in the beginning of the story, Nicola was in disgrace, I told you. What is this disgrace means? He has done some mischievous work and he is in a punishment. Right? He has lost the people's respect. That is called disgrace. But Aunt is giving him two punishments. That is too unfair. If she really wanted to punish him for lying that there was a frog in the bread and milk, okay, that one punishment is enough. Don't come to the Jugbarrow sands. But she's giving another punishment not to go to the gooseberry garden. And she's giving some silly reasonings. So as a small child, though he is a little child, he understood that there is no relationship between disgrace and the restriction that she has put on him. So he decided to go into the gooseberry garden. He decided to show his obstinacy quality. right? So writer is describing all these movements of Nicola very beautiful in the prose. You can read it and see. He's nicely explaining how Nicola is slowly creeping into that forbidden garden. So I can use the word forbidden garden because it is allowed only for the wiser people to go there. All the wiser and the better people. They are the elder generation. So he's trying to go into this gooseberry garden without the knowledge of his aunt, without the knowledge of his aunt. That means secretly. Clear? Now you can imagine how a little child is giving his much effort to go into that. How does he do that? He's trying to go into that. He knows that there are two entrances in the gooseberry garden, right? He knows all those things. He knows that two entrances are there, right? And he knows that no one will see him because he will go through the bushes and the trees. But aunt is always having a good eye, a keen eye on that garden. So because as the reason that aunt was having a very keen eye on that garden, Nicola understood, no, little bit difficult to go, I'm unable. He understood that. So he executed another plan. What is that plan? That is the plan to go into the lumber room. So he's taking the keys. He's fetching those keys from the, what we call the library. He's fetching the keys from the library to go into the lumber room, right? And he's slowly taking them. He's carefully opening the door. Now, if you have done some secret works at home and all, like, silently taking the keys, opening some cupboards and all, you know how much of a precaution you take. Like, you slowly do that. You don't do any noise. You try your maximum not to disturb anyone, and you try your maximum not to get caught for anyone. Clear? So like that only, Nicola also. Now you have to imagine, you have to feel that how he's slowly opening. Very hardly this little boy climbed and took the keys of the lumber room, right? So lumber room is a place where it is kept locked for the youthful eyes. Those words you have to use when you're writing, right? So it is kept locked for them. You can't go into that place. It's very secret. Just imagine, now your house is very big and you have separate room in a very corner place, right? And your parents are telling, don't go into that room. Okay, that room is very, very important. Don't lock it. I mean, don't open it. Don't knock it. Don't go near that. Like that, they say lots of curious stories to you. So how do you feel? You will definitely feel one day, definitely I have to go into that. I have to see what is that, what is there inside that. Why are they not allowing me to go? That is the nature of children. Curious. Not only children, the youth people are like that. They are very curious to know something, know new things. So this boy is now carefully is opening the door and he's entering the room. So this room is the unknown land for him. So there, Hector Hugh Munro has used the word unknown land because unknown land means he have never seen that land before. So it's something, a new place to him. So he's entering that unknown land and he gets highly attracted to all the fascinated things inside. So you're feeling so curious. What is fascinated? What is inside that? Is there gold? Is there some other kind of treasures? Like that, the readers also feel curious to know. And they are waiting until Nicola describes the things inside the room. So this is one kind of a plus point that Hector Hugh Munro has used in his writing. Due to this reason, even the readers, they start to build up the curious. They start to build up their curiosity. They feel we have to read the story more to know what is inside. So after he enters the room, he noticed many things, many new things, what he have not seen before. So there, Hector Hugh Munro is describing, certain antics he's telling about that, right? They were kept very safe without breaking, and aunt has locked them and kept for maybe for years, maybe for months or days, we don't know, but she has locked it and she has kept it very safely. So Nicola saw many things. The tapestry was there, the candlesticks were there, then some books were there. Like he saw some pictures of the frames and all. So out of all these things, one important thing that he saw was the huntsman's picture. right? He saw a picture of the huntsman with a stag. Clear? So Nicola was highly attracted to that picture. So listen carefully. Now, the lumber room, like there are people who didn't do lumber room story. So I'll just give you a creative imagination for that also. Lumber room means the dark room, the storeroom, we can say, right? It's a secret room, we can say. So you don't think like a secret in the sense some treasures are there. It's just like the dark room only. We call dark room. So this lumber room is a mysterious place for the children in that family. Not a new place for the aunt and the elder generation. They know that whatever inside that is useless things. What do we put in the storeroom? Useless things, right? But for the children, it is a mysterious place, a secret place. That's why that key was kept in a secret place. Only the elder people, or in other words, I can tell, only the privileged people, they can go into that room. So when Nicola took that key, he thought that he is going to discover many new things, right? He understood that the key was looking very important. He understood that some importance is there in this key. So Nicola, once he entered the room, now you imagine, he's shocked, he's amazed because he saw many new things inside. So there, the readers also want to say, why is he amazed? So first he saw, how did he see? A dim light. What did he see? A dim light in the room. A very high window is there on the top. From that window, the other side, you can see the forbidden garden, the gooseberry garden. Forbidden garden is there. A small dim light, maybe the sunlight, is coming to the lumber room, right? It's coming to the lumber room. So there are so many unimagined treasures inside the lumber room. So this is kind of an adventure to Nicola. He's trying to think himself as an explorer. So he's taking this as a chance, as an opportunity, a golden opportunity. Nobody is at home. This is my world today. This is my task today. So he started to explore everything very secretly, right? So when he entered, first he saw the framed tapestry. He saw the tapestry. So tapestry means it's kind of a, what we can say, a picture or a pattern, right? It is a pattern or a picture. I'm telling all these meanings because you should make your imagination, right? First, he saw the tapestry. It's like a pattern that is weaved using the colored wools and all, right? It's weaved using the colored wools. So he saw that. That was something new for him, right? So he sat there and he looked all these things. Then he saw Indian hangings and all, Indian wall hangings, those things he saw. Then only he saw this man who was dressed in the hunting costume. So he was able to understand, though he was a little child, that little child had a creative mind. He had a creative mind, and he was able to understand this man is belonging to some kind of a remote period, olden days time, because he was dressed in that manner, right? He had some arrows, a quiver was there, right? Some dogs were in front of with him together. Then some wolves were looking at him, right? So he was going into that world, what's happening inside this picture. So he was watching all these things very interestingly. So Saki has presented us the story in a way that the child's whole soul is inside that picture now, right? He's really shocked. He's fascinated by looking that picture of the huntsman, the wolves, and the dogs. Now he's starting to give conclusions. He understood huntsman is in a problem. So he started to think that the dogs who are with the huntsman, maybe they have get trained very well. So they will save the huntsman before the wolves jump into them. So this is what his conclusion was. Now, if it is an adult, what do you think? They will just look it, it's a picture, it's a painting, it's some, in Indian wall hangings, like that. They will just move on. They just move on. But children are not like that. If you have noticed, going to these museums and all, if you're grade 9, let's say you were in grade 9, your juniors are coming with you, right? 6, 7 children and all. So they look all these things what are kept in the museum in a very, very fascinating way. Like they think, wow, how is this possible? So when you are grown, you feel like, you see those kids, they are looking that also in a shocked way. You feel like that. But no, they are looking those things in a different angle. They have a very creative mind. They are thinking everything in a vast way. So adult people, they have failed to understand the child's mind. Maybe Hector Hugh Munro has suffered like these problems and all. Maybe adults who were taking care of him were not understanding his point of view. Clear? So we always have to realize that children are always children. They are looking the things what you have already seen in a different angle, and they have different thoughts about that. So that part of the picture was really a simple picture. It was just a picture. That's it. But it was interesting for him, right? He was enjoying that. His thinking pattern started to change. So in this part of the story, in the complication part of the story, the writer is trying to show that the child, due to the punishment, due to the conflict occurred in the story, the thinking pattern of the child is precisely presented. Children are the people who are always curious to know or hear something new. Clear? So you have to mention that when you are writing the appreciation, you will have to mention, you will have to appreciate the children, how Hector Hugh Munro has taken the effort to prove that. Clear? So every single item that he saw inside this room became symbol in his real life. He started to apply them to his real life. The tapestry, the pots, candlesticks, all these things, right? Even the square book, if you can remember, he found a book inside the lumber room. So when I say book, you will feel like, oh, is it about the history of about this palace or about the aunt, about their mother, father? No, it was just a book full of pictures, right? A superb, we can say, a superb expedition in the lumber room than the expedition in the Jagborough sands that was enjoyed by Nicola. So the third part, the third stage of the plot is called as the climax of the story. What is it? The climax. So climax means, in other words, I can tell you, the denuonement part, that is the peak of the story, the curious part, the most curious part, right? More than the complication. So this part of the story, when the climax is coming only, you also get the curiosity. Readers are coming to the highest point now, like, oh my God, now it's interesting. He's going in, now he's doing this. What will happen if his aunt see this? Like that, hundreds of questions are running in our mind. So this climax of the story is the time, the moment aunt is falling inside the rainwater tank. She's falling into a trouble, right? She needs the help of Nicola now. Now if you have not read the story, you will wonder how. Now, where aunt came from? How did she fall like this? So those questions are coming to you, right? Yes. Now, Nicola was really attracted by all these things. Now, he was enjoying all these things, pictures of the birds, everything was new experience for him, right? So the conflict of the story is how Nicola is enjoying the new experience inside the lumber room, right? He's entering the gooseberry garden, then he's going to the library, then he's taking the key, he finds it, he opens the door of the lumber room. So all these things he does without the knowledge of his aunt. So when you reach the climax of the conflict, he heard aunt is calling him. How does she call? In a very rude, rough voice. Nicola, Nicola, you are to come out of this at once. So she understood this boy is not to be seen for a long time. Definitely he's doing a nonsense somewhere as an adult. Now, usually, if you have stubborn brothers and sisters, your parents are keeping a very watchful eye on them, because at any moment they can do any destruction. They can break another child's head even if they are really stubborn children. So an aunt understood, if he is not there to be seen all this time, he is focusing on some other interesting work, right? So Nicola, he understood that. Now this is very important point, and this is very, very important. Try to understand and listen very carefully. Nicola understood that he's going to get caught. Okay, now you are Nicola. You think, okay, right, you're in the lumber room. You understood, oh, I'm going to get caught. She's shouting there. Definitely she will find me, right? So once again, he knows that he's going to get into the disgrace. Already now this boy is in a punishment, right? Already he's in a punishment. So he knows that again I'm going to fall in the disgrace. But here only the point. Now Saki is trying to show that this child is not panic. He's not excited. Maybe as readers, we got excited a little, right? Oh, aunt is calling now. How is this boy going to get saved? Definitely she will punish him, right? We get panic. We get so sad for Nicola, right? We are worried about him. But Nicola is not panic. He is not excited. He's calm. What is the reason for this? Children, they have the mind to face the situation. Adults are the people who are trying to slip from the problems, who are trying to cheat the other person to safeguard himself. Though the adults know that they have done a mistake, they feel shy to ask sorry, right? They feel shy to face the problem. They're scared. But this child is having that presence of mind to face the situation. So this is very important that Hector Hugh Munro is showing very clearly. He is not panic. How does he show? Indirectly, not directly. Hector Hugh Munro is not telling, okay, Nicola is not panic, he's not worried, he's not excited. No, not that. Indirectly, he's giving that message. How? Nicola, when he heard auntie's call, he keeps it very carefully in a corner. Slowly keeps it in a corner. Not that. He took a piece of cloth and he dusted all the dust also. Right? He dusted all the dust from a cloth, from a newspaper. Right? After that, he went to the room. He slowly came into the room that he took the key from. Right? He went to that room. He took the key. He locked the door very carefully. As he unlocked, he locked it also. After that, he went to the place and kept the key in the exact place where he took it. So see, without any panic, he did that. If it is an adult or any other person in that place, definitely they'll open the book, they'll rush out and come to the place because they're excited, they're panicked. They're panicked to face the problem. They don't have that mind. So this is the climax part. So we are also wondering, how is this? How can he do that way? How is he going to face the aunt? If she question anything, how is he going to answer her? So all these problems are coming to the minds of the readers as well. Right? So in the climax part, readers are able to understand aunt is in a problem. Now I told you she has fallen into a trouble, right? So Nicola was admiring all the of the birds and all. So when that voice of the aunt came, yeah, so when the voice of the aunt came from the gooseberry garden only, he realized that she has slipped into the rainwater tank, right? She cannot come out of that now. Now, what is the problem here? What do you understand here? Punishment is boomerang back to the aunt. The punishment given to Nicola is now boomeranged back to the aunt. Now she wants the help of Nicola because she wants to bring the ladder. Someone should bring the ladder to her to come out of that. So in this point only, we are getting some interesting funds. What is that? Nicola is starting to bully his aunt. He's trying to get the advantage of the situation that aunt is facing now because she's in a very big problem, right? She's now inside the water tank. So in this part, the behavior of Nicola is getting, changing. He's trying to bully his son. He's trying to play with her. And he knows that he has been punished. He knows that even now he's in a punishment. But he wanted aunt to understand that what she did was wrong. Because he knows that now aunt is in a problem. She has fallen there. So she's pleading him. So this is very funny because we thought aunt was like a overruling character. My God, she's having a boasting character and all. But now, unfortunately, she has to have the help of Nicola. Right? So in the resolution part, what's happening now? Resolution means how the end of the plot is reaching. Right? So in this resolution part of the story, Nicola tries to remind about the things what the aunt has done to him. He's using some strategical ways, some tactful ways for his aunt to understand what kind of troubles she has given to this boy. right? So he's trying to explain, okay, you told me not to go to the gooseberry gardens. I went there. He's trying to prove that he went there, right? So he's trying to show that some humorous words. What did he say? He says, your voice is not like my aunt's. Maybe you are the evil fellow. My aunt has told that evil ones only coming and making us to do this and that. Likewise, in a very humorous way, he's giving some comments to his aunt, right? So he tries his maximum to make his aunt helpless, and he tries to dominate her, right? So in this place only, in this part of the story only, Nicola's character is becoming very stronger, very influencing character. Clear? So this is called the resolution part. And after that, how the story ends slowly, you have to explain that. So most children are asking me how to do the conclusion. What should we tell there? So that is actually, you have to explain what happened in the short story. So in the resolution part, mainly writer is focusing at the evening tea table. Can you understand? In the evening tea table, their discussion is only focused, right? Everyone are coming back to home. Even the children who went to Jagborough Sands, they also come in there, right? Cousins, Nicola's cousins, then aunt, the maid, everyone. So they understand that in the evening table, readers also realize that the children, they are not talking anything about the trip that they went, right? Aunt is also not blaming anyone here, because the children did not enjoy that. They're not afterward. And also, aunt is not blaming, or she is not overruling, she is not commanding anyone here, because she is in a very deep thought. What is a deep thought? Oh, shamefully, I had to take this man's help, right? I fell into this water tank. That was a very bad day for her. And she understood that the punishment has boomerang on her. So writer Hector Hugh Munro, he's trying to suggest that aunt has get frozen because of the certain incidents that happened in the gooseberry garden, right? Because from her mouth itself, she told, go to the gooseberry garden and bring the ladder. Can you understand? And the third person, Nicola is also silent in this evening tea table. His silence is different. What is the reason? He's silent because he's imagining certain things about the huntsman's picture. He's starting to think how the huntsman will save. His own conclusion, how he will go out of this place. That's how Nicola's thoughts are moving on. So this is the plot of the story. Clear?